And the word that he gave me for this year is joy. So I think it's just going to be a real journey for me this year of finding joy in making content again, and why I feel like God's built me to do this and why he wants me to continue doing it. Welcome back to the Cypress Room, where we dive deep on influencing with integrity. I am Christina Mascari.
And I'm Meggie Honeycutt.
And we're back for a new year, 2024. We didn't quit, guys. We're back. We didn't quit.
We are back. Back in the podcast studio. Yeah, we're going to continue on this year. It's going to be a great year, I think.
Yeah, and we wanted to, everyone's making their predictions for what 2024 looks like in terms of being an influencer, content creator, how social media is going to shift and change. Some of these things, I think we just need stuff to talk about. But there is a truth to it, because social media is constantly evolving. Yes. And if I look at what I was doing 2 years ago, it's completely different. So you can't just say stuck in your same way and your same mentality. And unfortunately, your business can't continue to run the same way it ran last year. In any other industry, it might not change that rapidly, but in social media, it changes pretty quickly.
It does. It certainly, being in content creation requires kind of a flexibility to adjust as you continue on year after year. And so we just wanted to take some time the beginning of this year and talk about kind of some things we're seeing, trends that are maybe some ins, and then things that we think maybe will start to kind of fall into the background this year.
Yeah, ins and outs. And I have been, have you been consuming a lot of ins and outs content at the beginning of the year? Because I have.
I have, because it feels like it's all over.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily love it. I just am always very curious, because I'm not necessarily a New Year's resolution type person.
Yeah.
And I never I'm not a fan of cancel culture too. And I feel like it's a little bit of that.
It's out. Because guess what? If something, particularly in pop culture, if something's out, it doesn't mean that you can't still like it or still do it if you find joy in it.
Yes.
And I think I don't usually do goals or New Year's resolutions either, because it just seems so forced.
Yes.
And I was telling this on my stories the other day. It's just a man-made point in time. 2023 to 2024 is a man-made construct. Time, depending on what you believe on, it's just time. And we use it to measure and look back, but there's no, what's so special about this point in time that you have to recreate yourself. I don't believe in that. I don't like the pressure of it. I just feel like you're setting yourself up to fail. If you want to make your goals and resolutions in February, in June, in October, do it whenever you want. And don't feel the pressure to be oh, that's so 2023. Because it's just a man-made up point in time.
I agree. And if you are feeling a prompting to make a change in a certain area of your life or business, any day's a good day to start. I think it's better to focus on small measurable changes where you can celebrate some small wins, gain some traction, get some consistency, than to feel very overwhelmed at making a bunch of goals at a certain point in time and then never being able to follow through with them. So,
yeah. And we just want to let you know, disclaimer, these are our thoughts and personal opinions. Whenever you hear ins and outs, they're always rooted in subjectivity.
Yes.
Very, very rarely are they rated in objectivity, but we do have some stats and some trends that we're seeing that we can talk about. But we're not future tellers. We really don't know what's going to happen in this next year. Yeah, we can look back and see what happened last year and look at the way that trends are happening. But again, this is very subjective. So if you feel some type of way about something that we say, let us know in the comments.
Yes.
Because we want to hear your opinion, because I think everybody's opinion on what this next year is going to look like is going to be different.
Yes. And not only ins and outs for social media, but I think maybe we'll also touch on maybe just some mindsets, things we just want to leave behind in 2023 as well, just personally in our own businesses. So yeah.
All right, let's do it. Are we gonna start with ins? Are we gonna start on positive note, or should we do outs? I guess we can just jump around.
Yeah.
Let's just jump around. We're gonna do it on the fly here.
And I'll start with one. And that is an in. And one big in that we've seen this year, and of course you've heard us talk about it, we did a whole episode on it, was e-commerce and shopping in apps. So TikTok Shop, YouTube has the product placement. Is that what they call it in the videos?
YouTube it's technically like the program is called YouTube Shopping. I don't really know how they're branding it to consumer. I haven't really seen them talk a lot. I don't think they've done a lot of consumer education on it. They put the burden on the creator to educate the consumer. And I think this year we'll see more of them being like, hey, did you know you can shop right on YouTube? Instead of just relying on the creator to educate the audience.
Yeah, and even Instagram has hopped on this bandwagon with some in-app shopping. They're rolling out sponsored posts that are shoppable in-app as well. So that is a big trend we're seeing. And it's really, I guess the corresponding out would be what then? Just somebody shopping on their own.
I think what is definitely out is click my link in bio.
Click my link in bio.
That is like completely disappearing. And if you are still doing that, this is one that I'm going to put my foot in the sand and be like, no longer say link in bio. They do not convert. And there are better ways to convert now, as you need to be educating your audience to know where your storefront is. Or if you have a stand store, or if you have all those links saved on your website, you need to be educating your audience almost in every other piece of content that anything you see here on my Instagram, you can shop here. And you need to be sending them to a destination so they always know to do it instead of link in bio, which is also like they have kind of banned that language for a while. Well, that's been like the thing that people assume is that when you say link in bio or you have that anywhere in your stuff, that they are not going to push that as much. But the thing that has really taken over the link in bio is automated DM responses.
Yes.
And there are several platforms that you can do this on. The one that I use is called ManyChat. And before I post a reel or a post or even a story, and I know I'm going to try to be pushing people to like check out something, get a link to something, purchase something, I create an automated response on the back end and say, hey, if you want to like buy this spray tent, it's my most popular item of 2023, comment tent, and I'll send you a link right to your DMs. And so that is, I can create that link on the back end. Then I know that person wants it. It's right in their DMs. I put it with this whole thing where it's a picture. So even if they forget that they asked for it, they have it saved in their DMs. And they're like, oh, wait, I asked Christine about that. I'll go back in my DMs with her and make a purchase like months later off of it. So it's more evergreen. If people are scrolling, it still keeps them, they can still keep scrolling. So they can do tent and then keep scrolling through their content. They don't have to go to my link in bio and purchase that thing right away. So I think I'm seeing better conversions there. So that's definitely the way that influencers that know what they're doing are doing that automated DM, automated response, instead of just trying to push that link in bio.
And this is a paid service.
This is a paid service. Yeah. Mine is only $15 a month. They vary. I have people that say they really like ones over the other. ManyChat is the only one I've ever used, and it works really well for me. And I pay $15 a month. And
is that unlimited use for $15 a month?
It's not unlimited. If you send out a certain amount over a certain amount of context, you will go up in, the charge. But I have a pretty big following and I've sent out a lot of them, and I've only had that happen like once or twice. So, but the thing is, if you're sending people and it charges you more, you're probably converting. So you're probably making that money up somewhere else. So try not to get too like wrapped around that.
Yeah.
But there's other services out there. There's one called InstaChamp. There's one called DM Linker. So I'll kind of pull all those together and put them down in the chat box for you, but in the description box for you guys, so you can check them out on your own. But it's definitely a smarter way. It's an easier way to convert. It's automatic. And I have found that it's more evergreen because I have people still commenting on reels that I put up like in November.
Yeah.
So I'm still getting like the automation from that. And that wasn't the case when you were sending people to link in bio. If you didn't make the sale that minute, you probably weren't going to get it.
Yeah. I know I appreciate it as a consumer of content
I use
as
it
well.
on other people.
I use it on other people because link in bio, it can be frustrating to find a specific link within, their whole link tree. And then you go to their Amazon storefront and you're just sifting through things. And then, attention spans are short and people navigate away if they're weren't really that interested.
Yeah.
So I think that is a excellent trend moving forward to get better conversions. And so content creators can really get compensated for the conversions that they make.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try not to get too deep here, but I just want to tell you this because I think people don't talk about it. I want to give you a warning that you cannot send a Amazon link specifically in DMs or in a text message or to friends and family. It is against the operating agreement of Amazon. So if you're using an automated system like that, you don't want to link directly to a product. You want to link to your storefront or an idea list or a shoppable photo and video in your storefront. It's a privacy rule because if you're sending a DM to a product and then someone buys it, you would know that they bought it. And that is like against, Amazon's privacy. So I know Amazon's really well. If you're linking to other like platforms like LTK, I think you're safe. If you're linking to like Walmart or Target, you need to check the operating agreement you're operating on under being an affiliate and if that is allowed in their affiliate program or not. You need to make sure that you're following the rules. So
good point.
I know, because people don't talk about that because we don't really know the answers. And who's going to read an operating agreement? But you need to. You're in a contract with that affiliate program, so make sure that you're knowing the ins and outs because DMs are private.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because you can have your Amazon store
taken away.
And
it's happened. It's not just a myth. It has happened in the past couple of months where people have been taken down for violating that.
Yeah.
rule.
We don't want that for anybody.
We don't want that for you. Yeah. So follow the rules.
Follow the rules. Okay. It's your turn. What is your in and out for 2024?
Well, I guess the first one I want to talk about is I'm trying to think about how it's the major retailers are starting to have their own platforms for affiliate shopping. Amazon has been the juggernaut here for a long time. But just this year, Walmart has rolled out a creator program and Target has created a creator program where you're creating your own storefront. You are curating items. You're uploading your content into there and making it shoppable. That's where brand deals are coming through for, Target stuff, for Walmart stuff specific. That's where they're going to find their creators. And I'm going to tell you, it is hard to do them all. And I think this is just a trend that's going to continue. Even Abercrombie has their own app that is for creators now. I keep getting denied. Abercrombie, you are the only clothes I buy besides my, merch and Amazon stuff. All I wear is Abercrombie, but I keep getting denied. But they're taking away this middleman. Like, I don't know. LTK is such a juggernaut. I don't see that going away either. And if you link to a bunch of different things, LTK is still a good place to be. But you can't ignore Amazon, Walmart, and Target when it comes to home decor, fashion, and beauty. They are just always going to be big hitters. And so I'm on all three of those platforms right now. Am I going to be able to commit to all three of them long term? I don't think so. So I'm just kind of playing around with all of them to see where am I going to get the best return? Where is my audience wanting to shop? What company do I value the most? What do I think they value out of their consumers? Do I like what they're doing? Do I like the products that they have? So I'm kind of like dating all three right now and we'll see. But the days of like, they're doing all the stuff. They are creating the relationship with the creators and trying to take the middlemen out is what it seems to me like.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's nice that there are options if somebody isn't an Amazon person, but they are a full-on Target gal.
Yeah.
Like, this is an opportunity to really invest some good time and energy this year into that, with the possibility of one, earning some extra affiliate money, but also possibly partnering with Target. It's a great opportunity. So.
Yeah. And I feel like when they first start these platforms, the commissions are a lot better through being on the actual platform than, doing it through like a middleman or a service or something else. So that's something to look out for too. So
all right.
I just think those platforms, we're just going to see them popping up all over the place. And then it's going to be like, how do I keep all these platforms straight? But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
So is there a corresponding out for this in of affiliate platforms?
I mean, no, I think it's just more like building the opportunity to build a relationship with some of these bigger brands and get deals through that way and earn affiliate money through that way. Dealing with them directly and just cutting out the middleman is the out.
Do you think the out could also be, I know back in the day, and maybe this is sort of fizzled out, it was like for every individual product and brand, they'd be like, oh, well, there's affiliate money for this paint and these paint brushes.
Yeah.
And so it was like everything was separate. I don't know if that was similar in other niches, but I know for sure in DIY and stuff, it was very individualized to the brand. Do you think that is out, or is that still happening?
I don't know. I think it depends on where you want to shop, because
Yeah.
like all the things that they have on Amazon, they basically have at Sephora, but some people
Right.
really still like shopping at Sephora, and they have a, loyalty program, and they just like the experience of going in store and having the status on Sephora and knowing that Sephora is the authority on those things, even though they can get them elsewhere.
Right.
So it'll just be interesting to see how people, but you can really tailor it and curate it the way you want. If you want your audience to have one-stop shop and not have to go 1,700 places, Walmart and Amazon, you can pretty much find everything on there. And I think Target is just unique in that they have like their own brands and you can't get them anywhere else. So I think that's why Target is still really big. And even though we're doing a lot of that Target shopping online, we still have that like ingrained in our brain, like the experience of walking through Target with the Starbucks and touching and feeling all the things. And I think that makes people continue shopping there online, is the feeling they have about how they used to shop in store.
Yeah.
Plus there's some things that those exclusive brands they have with like celebrities and whoever else that you can't get anywhere else. You can only get them in Target.
Yeah. I love Target. Okay. So what's next? An in, long-term partnerships, and out is the one-time deals.
Yeah, the one-offs. I mean, I think we're still always going to see those one-offs. If someone's launching a new product and they want to have like a lot of budgeting dollars, but just dropping in someone's DM and saying, hey, I want to work with you, I love your product, I don't think is enough anymore. And I think you kind of already have to be using it, and you have to have examples that you can share with them. Unfortunately, I think I don't want to say unfortunately, it's just different. It's different than what I'm used to. Conversion rates and showing them, hey, in this Walmart platform, because I can track it a lot better now, in Amazon, when I shared this link, it converted this many times. Here's how many I've sold in the past month. I think that stuff is important for laying the groundwork for why you should partner with me in a long-term partnership. And for me, luckily, I have a lot of long-term partners that I'm going into like my third or fourth year with having a contract with them. And they know, like, they can see what I've done and they can see the benefit of what I've done over the past 3 years, the awareness that it's brought. They have a lot of measurable stuff. And I think it's just, there's so much content out there that it's really hard to show, hey, I made this reel. This is how many click-throughs I got and this is how many conversions. I feel like they're really low because people are so oversaturated with it that they have to know, like, Christina is always going to use a Ryobi drill. Like, in every single piece of her content, she's using that, whether she's talking about it or she links to it or whatever. It's that brand awareness. And I think they're starting to see, instead of like 1 million views and low conversions, they'd rather have you constantly in community with them. People know that you like it without shoving it down people's throat. So I feel like that's changing for sure. And I feel like that's been changing for a while. And I think it's just going to lean in even more to creating those long-term type of partnerships.
I agree. I think the long-term partnerships build a level of trust with brands. They know they can trust you to make sure you're going to do what you're supposed to do on time. They know the quality of your content, but it also builds trust with your community, your online community. They know, oh, Christina loves Dixie Belle. She loves Ryobi. Like, I don't see her using a different drill every day or different paint every time she picks up a paintbrush. There is a level of trust, I think, on both sides of the coin there that really make for more authentic conversions and probably higher conversions too.
Yeah. And, the part that you guys don't get to see and that I love about it and that I've had my partners tell me is that we're in relationship.
Yep.
We are talking. There's a level of trust there. Like, I know about their boyfriend, or I know about their wife, or I know about their kids or the dog that they have. And there's like a personal connection there too that you don't get to foster and grow when you're just doing these one-offs. Sometimes there's like a middleman and 10 agencies in between, and you don't even get to talk to the person about, like, did you like this piece of content? Did it resonate? What can I change next time? There's more relationship in there. There's more buy-in. And when I think there's less pressure on me as a creator to create this like crazy thing that's going to get all these conversions, because there's a steadiness to being partnered with me and being in a long-term partnership that, hey, if something doesn't hit well, that's okay, that didn't hit, but we know we have this other one coming up, and looking at it more of a long term and dividing like how much they're investing in you versus how much you did the whole year. Because not everything you put out is going to get 1 million views. But like speaking of Dixie Belle, you know, I had some projects that didn't do stellar. They were like average views, but then I had some that were in the millions, and they get to see those, they get multiple million view reels throughout the year because they're working with me so much. So they get to get the fruit of when I do have those viral moments. And if they were just doing one-offs, like the odds of hitting that million on those one-offs, it's happened for me before. And I get so excited when it happens for people, but you can't ever guarantee it. And that is like such a pressure too, as a creator, to be like, this has to perform, this has to perform. But if it's a long-term relationship, you're like, if something doesn't hit, it's okay, because I know like the next one might hit, or this one hit 1 million this year or 10 million. So actually, if I don't even get a ton of views on the content the rest of the year, they still end up out ahead. And I think the partners are starting to see that too, is that we just need to invest long term and see what they can do output the whole year versus just one-offs.
Yes. I personally love that approach to brand partnerships anyways, because I feel like it's much more mutually beneficial when you're able to collaborate over a period of time, multiple pieces of content, because then you're more likely to meet expectations as a creator, because it is so volatile whether a piece of content is going to do really well. And there's so many factors involved. It's better to be able to produce several pieces of content and show them like we normally do at the end of the year. Here's what the whole year, the whole year partnership look like. And that looks amazing. So yeah, I love long-term partnerships. Okay, so this one might hurt your heart a little bit, but one in for 2024 is the rise of short-form video content, especially on YouTube. And I don't know how much you all follow YouTube creators, but I know I've watched several videos of creators who went to like the YouTube yearly summit, and talking a lot about how YouTube is just hyper focused on the rise of YouTube shorts. Yeah. And so I don't want to say long form isn't out, but some would say that.
If you're starting right now and you don't have like a 5-year plan, and you're like, okay, if you don't make money on your content for 5 years, I would say the same.
Yeah.
I would say the same. And you guys have to understand that I'm coming from a place of, I created long form content when there was no short form content. Like that makes me feel
a dinosaur.
That makes me feel so old. Like there was a time, everyone gather around.
Back in my day.
Tell me a story back in the day where we only created content horizontal. But it's like, so I get it. And I really appreciate how YouTube has gone after the short form content. They weren't like Instagram and had an identity crisis when TikTok blew up, because Instagram basically just tried to make Instagram like TikTok, and it's just like a hot mess. But you know, all of us people are still on there. There's a certain type that is still on Instagram, and it really converts for me as a person, because guess what? I'm still on Instagram. But I think the younger generation, we're talking, there's some millennials that have adapted Z and then under Z. And let's face it, they're going to be 25, 30 before you know it.
Yeah.
And you have to prepare for how they want to consume content. I think how-tos are never going to go away on YouTube, because that is where people learn how to do things. Okay. So those are never going anywhere. But I think the entertainment value of long form content on YouTube is on the decline. And I have seen it in my numbers, and I've seen it in my bank account, and it's okay. I'm figuring out what that looks like for me. There was a point where I wasn't doing any short form content on YouTube because it was killing my channel. And so I stopped doing it, and I was only doing it on Instagram and TikTok. And there was something like in my spirit that was like, you can't ignore this. Like it's going to operate different. Your numbers may be down, but you have this content. And I just thought on it, and I prayed on it, and I didn't get a word that I needed to start a separate channel with shorts only. So I've always just incorporated them in, and I started doing them again. And again, it's the slow play with YouTube. They have been testing and they test and they test and they test, you guys. And YouTube is not going to do something unless it's going to make them money. They are very smart. They're very methodical on how they do things. I have seen things on the back end. I'm on committees and things like that and get to test products out. And so when they say that it's probably going to be the year where they really ramp it up, I believe them. And they're figuring out ways to make money on short form content. And shopping is one of those.
Right.
And I can give you the example of I have maybe 2 or 3 reels that only have like 10,000 views or something like that. Not reels, shorts. They're very minuscule views for shorts, 10,000, 11,000 views. But I made, I think, like $700 in commissions. So it was like triple that in what I actually sold on just a thing of doing like an outfit, because I could link my Abercrombie clothes in there and it converted. So I'm like,
if they opportunity.
Yeah, if they've figured out how, and I'm not a clothes influencer and I sold that. So if they're creating ways for people to be able to engage in that content, consume it quickly, and then still make money off of it, I can see why they're going to like shift things that way.
Yeah. Well, kind of contrary to that out though, one of the ends, and maybe this is the exception to the rule, is video podcasting. We have just seen everybody has a podcast now, including us. And there's this meteoric rise of these long form video podcasts. I mean, we're talking hour plus, some 2 hour. And I know YouTube had said last year they were really pushing it. We've really seen a rise in that. People seem to be interested in that type of content. So I hope you all make your way here. Subscribe.
I hope that YouTube starts pushing us out with some of those bigger podcasts. But this is the thing. I feel like the podcasts that are like the big, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm biased. I feel like the big video podcasts on YouTube were successful podcasts, just audio only, before they started doing the video. Am I just...
You think so?
I think so. I don't know. How many podcasts do you watch on YouTube? You probably don't watch any.
Yes, I do. My big one, and she knows, I've been really into Theo Vaughn's podcast.
Oh yeah, I really like him.
And his, I think, has always been on YouTube. I think.
Has it? I don't know.
Yeah.
We need to research this.
But there's just so many that are popping up. And yes, I think some of it is they were big podcasts, audio only, and have now joined in on the video. But the other ones I watch are more like pastors and preachers.
Yeah.
Doing it video style too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It'll be interesting.
We'll see. I mean, I know I watch them, but I don't think I know if people are really watching them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think I have the stats to back that up. So if you're a podcast watcher, if you're here, hopefully you're watching this whole thing. Let us know if there's other ones that you're watching on YouTube and how you consume them, because I want to know.
Well, just as a caveat, do you have thoughts about why we're seeing such a rise in podcasts? Why are we consuming more podcasts? Why do people like them?
Well, I think a lot of the people that you're seeing do podcasts were the type of people that would have just made a YouTube channel back in the day. You're seeing a lot of reality stars that are just looking, I think, for another source of income. And a lot of those people that are, I'm just going to generalize, a lot of those people that are, influencers or, in reality TV, or actors, actresses, singers, whatever, they like to talk about themselves and they like to be in front of the camera. And so it makes it easy. I remember, guys, I'm going to be very vulnerable with you. When we launched this podcast, I promoted it on my main channel. And the comment that really stuck out to me that I still remember is like, everybody has a podcast this day. Like, you're such a narcissist to step out and do something like that. And I was like, whoa. But there is a little bit of truth. There is a little bit of truth in that statement. Not that I'm a narcissist, but like, to be able to do something like this, unless you have been called to do it. We do this every time out of complete obedience to God. I feel fear around it. Sometimes I don't enjoy leading up to it, but once we start, I always enjoy it. The process has been hard and challenging, so we don't wake up every day being like, I can't wait to be on camera and talk about myself and everything that I'm doing. But there's a lot of people out there that want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's the negative side of it. But the positive side of it is that I think this is this is the most authentic type of content you can create.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. As a consumer of podcasts, it sort of gives you a peek behind the curtain in some respects. In other ways, you get to feel like you're getting to know somebody on a different level. You're getting to hear different perspectives and ideas and stories that you wouldn't otherwise get to hear.
Yeah.
It's almost like living documentaries or something,
It's very
or
it's
similar
like
to
getting
that.
to go to coffee with someone or getting to go to lunch instead of a very curated, edited, pre-questions already filtered out. I think you see more like these raw moments pop up because you're with someone for such a long length of time, and something will just like, you'll be talking in conversations, well, I want to talk about this, and you feel like it almost comes out of nowhere. And I don't think those types of moments you can capture in a very curated interview format like we're used to seeing on media.
Feels personal.
It feels more personal, and you get to choose what you want to hear instead of it just being fed to you. Like, you get to choose, like, I want to hear this point of view, I want to hear this point of view, and you get to tailor it a little bit more towards you. And I think that's what we were both talking about. What we really love about Theo Von is like, he just creates this space. It's sometimes parts of it are cringy to watch because they're just sitting there and they don't know what to talk about. But then there's these other beautiful moments because of that space, that really vulnerable, beautiful things have come out from it. And I don't think if you didn't have like the mundane of like, well, what did we talk about? Well, that was weird. Why did I say that? He just creates this atmosphere where people feel safe to talk about things they normally wouldn't talk about in just a formal interview with the lights and all the things. So I do love that about it.
I do too. That's one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see, like, I mean, just in full transparency here, we've been doing, again, we're baby podcast. We're lucky that we have kept the camera on this long and keep editing and all the things. But you're looking at a year's worth of work into this podcast, and we haven't got a physical check yet out of anything. We have some things in the work that I think we have a little bit of an affiliate sales that maybe we'll get $80 in a couple of months if people don't return everything they bought. But that's where we're at. We're not in a spot where we can be monetized. Like, hopefully this year we can make plans to maybe reach out to a sponsor and maybe ask for some money per episode. But so I don't know if the average person like us, is this really sustainable as a business idea?
It's a good question.
But some people just do it out of passion and out of the love. I know several people that have been running podcasts for years and they don't make any money off of it. They just do it as a hobby. And it's something they like to talk about.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. And I'm proud of us though, because we are here, episode 25. This 25 episodes in.
We've done 2 remote interviews now. Yes. You might not have seen both of them yet. We don't know how the schedule's going to be. But
have stuck with it. Remember you gave those stats that how many people drop out after 10 episodes?
Oh, it was astronomical.
Yeah.
Like, we're in the top 8% right now, but I'm like, out of these top 8%, are they really all not making money? I don't know. We'll see as we go. And then, I mean, guys, the main goal here is to not make money. That is not the goal. Like, we would have come up with a lot better business plan if that was our goal. Our goal was we just like to do this. We like to sit around and talk about this industry because it's so wild, it's so new, and it changes constantly. So there's always something to be talking about. So I have taken us down a rabbit hole. I don't think Meggie wanted to go down.
No, I did.
I have so many thoughts about podcasts, and it's the type of content I love to consume. So I think that's what's pushed me to do this. But I'm kind of trying to peel, my blinders back a little bit and be like, what is the average person? Because it just seems like 2 opposite sides of the spectrum. You're telling me people are consuming these 15-second, 30-second videos and can't sit down through a whole YouTube video to watch how to learn to do something, but they'll sit and watch an hour and a half podcast. I don't know. I don't know if that's just me or if that's everybody. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think people watch a podcast with a different purpose than they would watch something.
Okay.
One of your videos though too.
Yeah.
That's pure entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
I think people come to your videos to learn how to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Do people just not want to learn how to do stuff anymore?
I don't know. They will one day but it's just like you can just click on an app and get somebody to do anything for you. Oh, we could keep talking on this forever, but
I
we
know.
can move on.
So many thoughts
We can
about
move
podcasting.
But I will tell you, I mean, I every person I run into that has a successful podcast right now and is making money on it and is not doing video, every time I run into somebody, I'm like, you need to put it on video.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if it's just a static camera like we have the whole time, and just throw it up on YouTube. What's the worst that can happen? You get more followers.
Yeah.
If you already have a successful podcast and people are listening to audio, you need a video. Do the video.
Do the video.
Yeah. So there you go.
For whoever needed to hear that.
Well, somebody needs to hear it. I ran into a friend from elementary school at Elroy at a coffee shop the other day. And I know she does a podcast on Southern culture with her sister. And I know she's been doing it for years. And I was like, how's your podcast doing? And then I just started talking to her about how we started a podcast. And then I said, are you doing it on video? And she's like, no. I was like, you needed to. And I just said the same spiel. And she goes, me and my sister are meeting right now. In our meeting, it was probably like a God thing that I ran into you. I'm like, do the video.
Okay. What's our next in?
I mean, we've kind of talked about this a little bit, so I won't expand on it that much, but I think to get brand deals now, unless you're just like super engaging and funny and your content is just amazing, you can't drop into someone's DMs and be like, I love your product, I use it, hire me. You have to be able to show conversions, unfortunately. So if you're just starting to get into this and you just don't even know where to start trying to sell your favorite things that you use. And I know people are so like, I don't want to push links. If it's something that you own and use every day, you're not pushing a link. You are a supporter. You are a brand ambassador that is just not getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
So start just organically, and you share the thing that you love over and over and over again. Like this was a fun experiment. I put yesterday on my stories, guess what my top selling item is in Amazon for 2023 in my storefront. And all the guesses were spot on. My coffee machine, because I share that every other day. My Ember mug, because I share that all the time because I use it every day. My sprayer, because I use that on practically every DIY you see me do now. My spray tent, because it's always used in tandem with my sprayer. Like they knew
Yeah.
the top 5 they guessed. Like every person who guessed hit my top 5. And I was like, see?
They know what you like.
And I'm only pushing like 5 things basically all year long. And you can make a living out of that.
Well, and
I'm using them. You're using them.
You're
and
saying pushing, but you're really just...
I'm not pushing. I'm just living my life.
Them.
I'm just living my life, and I'm showing you every day. So if there's something that if there's a brand that you're like, I would love to work with them, and because I use their product every day, still keep using it every day, still keep sharing it, and try to get some conversions to back up the fact that like, not only do I love this product, my audience loves it too. And every time I share it, like this many people click through the link, and it doesn't have to be astronomical. It could just be like, every time I shared this link yesterday and 50 people clicked on it. That's like data that you can share. That is proof that you can share that can just get your foot in the door with that brand. Yeah. So I know people are like, get the ick from affiliate sales and they think they're trying to sell things. But if you just see it from the aspect of like, we say this all the time, if I find a lip gloss that I like, I'm going to tell Meggie about it. If I find a lip mask that I like, I'm going to tell Meggie about it. So why am I not going to share it with my community? So I guess that would be the out, is the ick of like sharing affiliate links would be my out for 2023. Like, don't feel bad about it.
Yeah. Don't feel bad about it. You deserve to earn money on the things you're using every day when people decide to buy them. Yeah. So, okay. So I want to get a little touchy-feely on my ins and outs. And, we kind of touched on this in our year-end podcast. But my in for this year, the thing we're going to start doing, class, is we're going to just get started on that thing. We've been saying, when I get some time, I'm going to do this. When I get some free time, I'll, put my old content up on this platform. The out is the fear-based mindset, the mindset of procrastination. Yeah. That's what we're going to do this year. Fear is a liar. We talked about that in our last podcast.
If we would have listened to fear, we would have never started this podcast.
Yes. So this is the year for you, whatever that thing is that you've been just dragging your feet on getting started, whether it's applying to be an Amazon influencer, starting to share links. Is it you've been waiting to throw up some of your old reels as YouTube shorts? Is it a YouTube long form video channel? Whatever that thing is.
Is it creating your Instagram account for the bread baking that you've been doing behind the
Yes.
scenes for a year. And you're like, no one wants to see me knead bread. No one wants to see how I take care of my starter. There's already 100 people that do that. No more excuses.
No more excuses.
What's the worst thing that can happen, Meggie?
Oh, it doesn't work out. You put up some content and
Someone makes a mean comment who you'll
nothing
never meet in
happens.
your life.
Yeah, we talked about it. We
Yeah.
let all these fear, we
Mhm.
get in that fear cycle. We think of all the things that could go wrong and we never just get started. We want to figure it all out before we just
Mhm.
get started. This is the year you just get started and you figure it out along the way. You maybe make a few mistakes. A couple things don't end up being successful and it'll be okay. You just keep doing it.
Yeah.
So that is my biggest
Okay.
in and out for this year because, we're just not going to do that fear-based mindset anymore. And I'm preaching to myself
Okay.
on this too.
Well, we only have like one more in left, I think. How we oh wait, no. One I haven't talked on. I think this is definitely an in if you are like focusing in on like what type of content do I want to create this year. And even though those short form video is still very popular, that what we've seen, in the past couple of months is the rise of the series.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is a big thing. Usually you wanted to do your whole before and after in one 30-second video, get it all in. Now there's series, and they could be series on all different stuff. It's like, today is my series where my favorite one right now to watch is on Royal Caribbean, and they have a new ship that's launching. It's called Icon of the Seas, and it looks amazing. And they have one of their social media workers as she's doing like, here is my series on living on the Icon of the Seas on its transatlantic crust, to its new port in Miami. And every day she's like, day one of living on the Icon of the Seas, day two. And she's doing, so you want to come back every day to see what she's doing next.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a smart way to just like, if you want to try out different things in your content, you have different series. Like, here's a series of me taking care of my starter. I don't know why I'm stuck on bread today. Come back for day two when I feed it.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't have to put it all into that thing. And it's that hook of like getting people to come back. We see that with our friend Dawson. He has my 70s Reno. So he will have different series on working on his house, but in between he'll have other things that he's talking about too. So maybe having those just like series that are basically creating small, it's almost like a TV show, like a little season where you're focusing on one project, but breaking it up into series.
Yeah, I see a lot on TikTok too. Not necessarily a series, but more of like part 1, part 2, part 3. Like,
Yeah.
here's a get ready with me. Follow me in part 2 for the outfit reveal, or, all kinds of different ways where they tell half the story. Follow me for part 2, just kind of leaving people hanging a little bit so they want to know more. They want to know, we need that closure, right? To see the end, to see the after. And so if you're new to content creation, I think that is a great strategy to kind of get people engaged with your content.
Mm-hmm. And especially it helps you break up those projects or those things that are like a long thing. Like if you're training, say you're going to some school to train at this professional actor thing for 30 days and you're going to be there for 30 days. It's like day one of training at the most prestigious blah, 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 blah. And then you talk about that day. And it can just be as mundane as, today I tried out a new smoothie. If you just see like people want to go through that whole experience of you is like, what is each day in this intensive like acting program that you're in? And it could be anything.
Yeah.
So those are kind of fun.
I think that's fun. They always hook me in.
Yeah.
if it's
Because
something
I
I'm
am so
interested in.
into like what I would love to see. And I think you told me, because I just went on a cruise. So I have cruise brain right now. And you told me there's people that, are like a server or a steward or like clean the rooms. And they talk about, this is my living quarters. And this, so you get to see like where the sausage is made. I really love to know. Because that's the way my mind works. I'm sitting on the ship. I'm like, how do they clean the water for everybody? Do they have water pressure in here? Who's doing this? I want to know. I can't just sit and enjoy the time because I want to know how this massive machine is running. So I'm a sucker for that type of content, that behind the scenes.
I love
how does
that
it
kind
work?
of stuff too.
Yeah.
One other in that I've seen a trend, and maybe my platforms are feeding it to me because I started watching it, is a lot of people are up and coming as content creators, just showcasing their normal life and how they are content, whether they live in a trailer, a small apartment, just showing their space, their life, their normal life, and how much they appreciate it and the normalness of it.
Yeah.
And so I really think that is becoming an end. Like, you don't need a perfectly aesthetic home or
to share what you're doing.
Just share.
You still have value.
Yes, your
You don't need
ordinary
you don't need
everyday
a
life.
well lit home.
Yes, I follow this girl on TikTok. I think her handle is Trailer Park Pretty, and she lives in South Mississippi, and she and her family live in a trailer, and she basically just talks all about like, this is our home, we love it. She has it decorated all cute, how they utilize the space, and that it doesn't look like every other family lives, but they love it and they appreciate their home. And I think it really warmed my heart, because I was like, yes, I'm thankful for my house, and it doesn't look like a perfectly aesthetic, decorated to the nines house. And I love that the trend is like, I also saw another one of a single mom showing how her and her 3 kids live in a 1-bedroom apartment, and how she organizes and saves
I love
space.
that.
And, I think that is a really beautiful trend, to just, instead of lots of the consumerism, I need bigger and better or whatever, like, no, we all live differently.
Yeah.
We can utilize big and small spaces differently.
Yeah.
And we can be thankful for what we have.
Right.
So.
Just seeing more authentic people living their life and getting to be in community with them and seeing how they live their life is a very beautiful thing.
Yes. And
it doesn't all have to be Kardashians and
I know, it just
luxury items on yachts. Like, that is not the goal. Yeah. It's not the goal, you guys. We've been lied to for so long. And so I feel like that, that curtain's being pulled back. That's not all it's cracked up to be. And you can live a beautiful, full life without being on a yacht.
Stuff. Yeah. Yes. Contentment.
Yeah.
I love the idea of we're promoting, creators who are just content. We're not, trying to achieve this certain something or trying to look a certain way.
Yeah.
But this is where we have a beautiful family. We're all happy. I get, Trailer Park Pretty. I love her so much. She has such a beautiful family. And she's like, guess what? We live here and I get to stay at home and be with my kids.
Yeah.
Like, that's a beautiful thing. So I love that trend.
So cool.
For 2024, and I hope it continues.
Well, I think we hit all our ins. Are there any outs we didn't cover? Ooh, we got a big out we haven't talked about yet.
What is that?
And this hurts my heart as well, because I've worked hard to build up the following that I have, and I have a big following. I have I think it's up to 1.7 million followers. People have clicked a button to follow me on all 4 of the big platforms over the past however many years I've been doing this. And I just don't think those numbers matter anymore. They don't matter anymore. They're cool. They give you a little bit of comfort every now and then. They might get your foot in the door, but they don't set rates anymore, because your content isn't necessarily being pushed to all those people. Really, the only value of I call them vanity metrics, of my follower numbers, is it just shows that I got people to click a button at one point in time. That's all it really shows. It doesn't show anything else beyond that now, which kind of makes me sad, but it's okay. So don't let that hold you back if you don't have big numbers. We just did an interview with Kyle from @KyleDidIt on Instagram. And for years, he was sitting at 30,000 followers on Instagram, and that's the only platform he really focuses on. And he quit his job and did content creation full time on that, because he had great engagement, and he's so engaging on stories. And so there are a million ways to do it. And just having that goal of, well, I want to hit 1 million followers this year. As someone who is sitting at the top of the highest Instagram, I never imagined I would be over 400,000 on Instagram. It doesn't mean anything to me anymore. Only 50% of that audience is USA, and a lot of brands, that is a turnoff to a lot of them. I don't have huge engagement on my stories. My content just performs better. So it's just not always going to be a caveat that if you have this big following that you can charge this much. It's just not true anymore. You have to show engagement. They have to like your content. They have to like your personality. They have to like you as a person. There's so many more factors to it now. So I would say measuring people's success and setting rates on those follower counts are a definite out in 2023 from experience.
Yes.
I feel like this one is no longer subjective.
Yes. I agree with you. And so I want to ask a follow-up question. So is the goal now as content creators just high engagement and conversions? Do you think that is what should be the focus?
Okay, I'm going to give you the real answer and then my heart answer. So I think the real answer to that is yes, you need to work more on being engaged with your audience and fostering them instead of just trying to get more and more views. You need to go deeper instead of wider. In my heart, I'm not chasing those numbers anymore, but I'm also not chasing engagement. I'm also not chasing big dollar signs. I'm just trying to have more balance. And I think last year I had more balance, but I'm trying to get even more balance, but still be a content creator and still be in the business and make this making business sense. And I'm just figuring that out day to day. And that's going to be different for me because I'm a person of faith. And first and foremost, when I wake up every day, I'm going to cry. No, why am I crying? This one isn't a serious one. I want what I'm doing to be surrendered to what the will of God and what he wants me to do. And if he told me to lay this down, I would lay it down in a second. But for some reason, he wants me to continue doing this. And the word that he gave me for this year is joy. So I think it's just going to be a real journey for me this year of finding joy in making content again, and why I feel like God's built me to do this and why he wants me to continue doing it. Not to say that I haven't had joy and that I'm depressed, but I just want a sense of joy again. And there's just so many things. You see the behind the scenes. There's so many things to being a content creator and owning your own business, and just all the voices that are constantly coming at you, and looking around at everybody else and how successful they've become, people that pass you by, friendships come and go. There's just a lot. And I'm a very emotional person. I feel things very deeply. And it's been a rough go. The past 2 years there have been beautiful highs, but there's been super, super lows. So I know I kind of went off track there, but for me, like the stats and the algorithms and sometimes it always goes by the wayside, but that's not the smartest business decision. So you have to figure out what works for you, what's important for you, what your why is. And for me, it's been ever changing. It's like social media. It changes from year to year. And I kind of just want to be in a season where I just get a little bit more joy out of what I'm doing and not feel like I'm doing it for this reason and this reason and this reason. So that's the way I'm wired and built though. And I know some people can be more compartmentalized in business, which you're probably more successful than me if you are. So yeah, that's my touchy feely.
Yes, it is.
But I gave you a little bit of business insight before I went all cryy on you. Do we have any more outs you want to cover?
I don't think so.
I think we talked about all of them. Well, you do have one on here. I mean, AI is obviously just going to keep growing. It's an in. But you have ChatGPT as an out, and I want to know. You work with it more than I do, so why do you say it's out?
I guess I can't speak to the paid version, though.
Oh, okay.
Because I was thinking as I wrote that as an out, maybe this is their encouragement to get people on the paid version.
Okay.
Because I do use ChatGPT, or I have recently for many different aspects of my job. And I was just telling you the other day, maybe I need to learn it better, or maybe the paid version is better, but I feel like the results that I'm getting there, what they're giving me, video AI gives me the same results. I can tell when I'm looking at creators now who's using ChatGPT.
Shots fired.
From the voice that it's in, and the way, the phrasing.
So you think they're not changing it at all?
I think sometimes people are changing it, but I'm just, for me personally, recently, I've been more frustrated with it than helpful.
Okay.
If that makes sense. And so the reason I listed it as an out is I think that, and it's been under a lot of legislation this year, and there's been a lot of like back and forth things with that platform. I think there's going to be better tools developed.
Okay.
I think that's probably the most popular one. I know YouTube is integrating AI into their platform.
Oh my
starting
gosh, you
this
guys,
year.
the stuff that's coming on YouTube Studio is insane. They're going to be like basically going through my channel and being like, here's topics that your audience would like.
Yes.
And I'm like, yes, please. And they're even going to give me thumbnail suggestions. Like
Yes.
that I am here for, because they are scrolling my channel and my audience and saying, based on this, we think this. Like, I am here
Yeah.
for that. So I'm not
Yeah.
scared of AI, but it's like, you're someone who's been using ChatGPT, and here are the downfalls I see of it. So
Yes.
that makes sense.
So I just think, an in-app AI tool that's customized to YouTube to help you in such a specific way is going to be more useful this year than how some people are using ChatGPT for scripts and for titles and YouTube. I think an in-app AI with YouTube will be much more effective than doing that
Yeah.
in ChatGPT, or at least that has been my personal experience. Like I said, I'm only using that free option. So
Okay.
maybe the paid option is better, but to me, there are just better AI tools out there right now than ChatGPT.
Okay.
My last one, though, I did have one more out, and that's hashtags.
I know hashtags are out, but I'm not that sad about it.
I'm not that sad about it
Yeah.
either. I like the focus on good SEO and keywords in your content, in your captions.
Yeah.
I think it's smarter
It
and
makes
it's less
more
work.
sense, you guys. And because people will put hashtags on stuff that have nothing to do with what they're talking about, and it's like, that's not going to help you. And it's just like, you're trying to find a shortcut. There are no shortcuts. Okay. If you are talking about painting a piece of furniture, you paint a piece of furniture, and then you talk about painting a piece of furniture in the caption. You're telling me that people are going to find it now, and I don't have to find the right hashtag that doesn't have too many people, that does have enough people, but it's a little specific, but it's not too specific. And you need ones with 3 million, and you need some with 100,000, and you need one with 1,000. Like, thank you, please. I will just make the content and put it up and let it go and not have to worry about hashtags. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm here for it too. And yeah, we just don't need them anymore. AI is smart enough within each of these platforms for people to search the topics they're interested in. And if you're using those keywords, and if you're using those SEO in your caption and in your script as you're doing a voiceover, they're going to find you. So it's really, it's going to be a challenge as content creators if you aren't really knowledgeable about SEO to kind of start doing some more research on keywords for your content.
Okay.
So
those are our ins and outs. If we missed anything before we jump into favorite things, let us know. What are your ins and outs for 2024?
okay.
I can't believe it's 2024.
I know.
I don't like the construct of time, Meggie. I don't like it. Are we ready for favorite things? Normally we discuss them before the pod,
know.
and we didn't. We said this
didn't.
might get us in trouble.
No.
Do you have one?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to think of one while you're telling yours.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, my favorite thing right now, because we're in the dead of winter and I am paler than pale this time of year, is my self-tanner.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you may not be able to tell, but I have it on right now. And what I'm saying is it just takes away that pale glow that usually comes from me in the winter months. And I love the Tanologist Dark. I'm also wearing dark. That's the shade. Surprising, considering what I look like.
I think you look beautiful for
But
me.
I use the Tanologist Mousse, foaming mousse. And
Do you put it on with a pad, like a mitt?
yes, I
Okay.
use a mitt. I love this one because I know a lot of people like the fast developing, and I do not, because I don't know.
It would
I
be
think
too drastic.
yeah, it's too drastic, but also the transfer to me,
Okay.
I don't like that. So this one goes on clear. I usually just shower at night, put it on, sleep overnight, wake up in the morning, take a shower, and I'm ready to go.
Perfect.
And the best part is it's affordable and it's on Amazon.
And it's on Amazon.
So-
It'll be linked in the description. The best way you can support Cypress Room right now. I'm just going to ask for it. I'm going to be shameless, you guys. The only way we're making money right now is through our Amazon affiliates. And we only talk about things on here that we own and we love and we use. So if you need this item, don't buy it just because. But if you need this item and you want to support us, it's no extra cost to you to click on that link, and we get a little bit of a commission. Yeah. Okay, so I just thought of mine because I was like, what have I been using this week constantly? And I don't know about you, but my lips have been so chapped. So chapped. Like January is the worst month for just like dry skin. And I swear I'm just like, I need something on my lips. And I know everybody's into the Laneige
I know,
lip
that's my
mask.
favorite.
It's your favorite. That's totally fine. I have a different thing that I use because I can use it at night and during the day. I'm on probably like my 5th can of this stuff. I've been using it since before I moved here in Illinois. So I've probably bought more tins of this than that, but it's called the Sarah Happ Lip Slip. And it's available on Amazon, and it just has a little bit of shimmer in it. So I use it over a lip liner on the day, and then I use it at night. And it's not overly heavily fragrance. It's not like waxy. It's just like the perfect amount of moistness to my lips. I know some people
I hate that
I know
word.
people hate that word. It's so polarizing. But she also has a lip scrub, and all she does is lip products. I will tell you, I tried to buy one of her like tinted lip glosses because I'm like, oh my gosh, I love her stuff so much. Bought that on Amazon and ended up returning it because the color was not good, and it was like the top selling one. And I was like, not good for me. So I like the lip slip. I like the lip scrub, and they're available on Amazon, and it lasts a long time. And if you don't, I also have one that I keep in my purse that's like a tube. So if you want to be able to use it on the go, but I love the tub the best that I keep in my makeup kit that I put on in the morning and at night.
Awesome.
So those are mine.
That's good for the winter months.
I know.
Nobody wants to have crusty, dusty lips.
Yeah, and I was just telling her before the podcast, I am on the hunt for a nude lip gloss or lipstick that I can be in love with. Obviously, I just tried the Sarah Happ one. That was not it. I just have a hard time finding colors for my lips, you guys. So if you have a recommendation, if you have a tried and true that you love, will you please let me know in the comments? Because the year of 2024 is going to be the year I find the perfect nude lip for me. I'm declaring it.
Yes. Awesome. Well,
All right.
I think that's it.
Here's to 2024.
Here's 2024. This is the year we're going to reach our watch hours.
We're going to do it.
If you aren't subscribed already, subscribe, hit the notification button. You can also follow us on TikTok, Facebook, and or Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So come be a part of our community. We're so glad that you're here. And if you're still watching, we're really
Thank you for the watch hour.
Thank you for that watch hour. We so appreciate it. We'll be back soon with another podcast for you. So we'll see you next time.